Hi guys, I am back on the Fashion Dialogue. Today I'm here with Emma, CEO and co-founder of Silkfred.
Hi.
I'm gonna let you sort of give a little bit of an introduction into what Silkfred does, how it started, but go back to the beginning really.
Thank you so much for having me. We're really proud of the work that we're doing with Fashion Retail Academy. So
Pleasure.
I'm very appreciative that you're having us on today. Silkfred was co-founded in 2011, and really what we wanted to do was address what we felt was a gap where we saw an increasing amount of people wanting to start their own fashion brands, but not really having a route to market. So, we saw that people who were starting out, they were coming out of design school, fashion school, and they were wanting to, get in on the shop floors of like all the big kind of retailers, like, high end and high street. But really, they only have so much shop floor space, and also it's quite hard to build those connections in the beginning. And what we wanted to do was take brands and help them sell directly to customers. And so we started building the platform in 2011, and we launched just before the end of that year. And it took us maybe a couple of years just to get like our product market fit right. But really where we ended up was with a platform that gives brands the tools that they need to be able to sell online. And for customers, really, what we built for the customers was this community of independent brands where they were at affordable price points. So it was things that you couldn't necessarily find on the high street, but would be interesting and exciting. And it just took off really, really quickly. We started to grow so fast, and the responses that we get from customers. And we were one of the, I guess we were a brand born on social media, as it were. And what we really saw was that customers, when they were shown something that was different and unique and interesting, especially like visually, they just loved it. And the idea that they can support an independent fashion brand while they're doing it. And it's been it's been great, along with like my two co-founders like Stephen and Kate and the rest of the Silkfred team. We've made it we've made it kind of like our life's work, to lift up independent fashion brands and help give them everything they need to sell online.
What was that sort of like? How did you identify the gap in the market of noticing that there were independent brands wanted to sell online? How did that come about?
Sure. So I was working on the buying and merchandising team of an e-commerce company at the time, and my co-founder and friend Stephen, he came to me because his friend had invested in an independent brand, and they'd done all these like things, they'd appointed a PR agency, they'd got some stock made up, they opened a boutique in their hometown, they had an agency build a website for them, but they weren't really selling very much. So my friend Stephen, I was his friend who worked in fashion, brought it to me to have a little look. And as we started to look at, what this brand had done, I think they'd had about 20 grand investment, and they'd spent a lot of money on like things like their website, and for us that just felt like such a shame because they had such a great product, but not really money to spend on marketing. They were in some vicious contract with a PR
Marketing
agency.
Is expensive. It's really expensive.
It's expensive. It's hard to do it profitably in the beginning, and I think for a brand when you're starting out, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you've got product that customers want to buy. So to have to like learn all these other additional skills, like how to do digital marketing and how to be on social media. I think now it's a little bit of a different environment than what we were in 10 years ago when we were starting out. Going back to that kind of meeting that me and Stephen had over lunch, it was just, this is a shame. Like, we want to help brands like this. And, and Stephen had said, are there lots of other brands like this? And I said, oh my God, they're just knocking on our door all day long. But there's nothing that we can do for them, because back then, the way that you sold online was, you worked with brands that were, that had lots of PR and celebrity attention. Because what you would do is, Alexa Chung would step out with a Mulberry handbag, and then everyone would go and Google like Mulberry handbag, and then you would like pull that traffic to your site, and then you would work really hard to try and convert it to email subscriber. to build up your email subscriber list, and then you would then market all your other stuff.
Yeah.
But social media allows, it allowed us when we were selling, brands that no one had ever heard of, and no one had heard of us either, by the way. So it's a good combo. People were just, assessing they were just assessing based on what was in the photo. Is that a nice dress? Is it going to make me feel good? And I think with Silkfred, this combination of, brands that are trying to put, that a lot of the time, they've got, sometimes it's just run by one person. Sometimes maybe they've got bigger teams of maybe like 10 or 15 people, but they're all really small businesses, generally speaking. But what they do really, really well is they don't necessarily adhere to trends. They look at what they like and what their friends like, and they design the products that they want to see in the world as well. And the reason why customers respond so well to it is because they're looking for things that are special and different for all the big social occasions. So, at Silkfred, you never come to us for a black t-shirt. You come to us for something for your best friend's wedding or your son's christening, or that girl's holiday, or that date night that you've taken forever to plan. And, you say you're going to do it, you never do it, then you finally get it in the diary. Now you want an outfit for it.
Because every boutique, I suppose, has a different personality.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And because I think if you're a big company, obviously there isn't really a set style because you sell everything. You sell black t-shirts, you sell pink dresses and yellow dresses, whereas like some boutiques are known for prints or known for like a specific style. So like you are kind of housing like loads of different personalities.
Yes, and it very much feels that way because we work with the people who run the brands directly. Yeah. And we have that relationship, and I love that. It's one of the best things about Silkfred. When I worked in buying and merchandising, typically the relationships were between you and the sales agent who worked on behalf of the brand. So nice relationships and stuff, but it's not like getting to know the person who is so passionate about their product and what they're trying to do, and kind of working closely with them as they hit all these big milestones. And I'm racing down the post office with like all my orders, like, am I going to make it? Oh my gosh. One of the brands that we work with had something on Holly Willoughby yesterday. And I know that you see that happening a lot with bigger companies, bigger high street retailers, but I know what a proud moment that will have been. That will be like a turning point for that for that brand owner.
It does. It takes one photograph or one post for a brand to sort of explode, doesn't it?
Definitely. So I think for the people who come to us who want to start and grow fashion brands, it's very exciting for us to be able to get to work with them. And with the personalities, when you were saying that you see lots of different types of brands, that's why we kept the Silkfred branding really clean, just black and white and simple, because we wanted the products of the brands to really stand out, and for that to kind of be the thing that people notice. Our homepage, it's changed actually recently, but for the longest time, for like 5 or 6 years, everybody did like homepages that looked like magazines, and we just have products on ours. We were like, let's just get people to where they need to get to as quickly as possible. We weren't editorializing stuff too much.
It is actually, it's just better, isn't it? Because when you're shopping, you just want to see what you can buy in the basket. So going back to sort of when you started, what advice sort of do you maybe wish you had before you went ahead and done anything? Were there any sort of struggles or things that you didn't expect? So obviously we've got students that, or anyone that watching would want to start their own business. Is there anything that you remember standing out being like, oh God, didn't expect this?
I think not necessarily something specific to Silkfred, but one thing I think people sometimes don't realize about starting your own brand or starting your own business is just how much hard work it is and how much you have to do yourself. Whether it's staying up all night steaming because you've got a shoot the next day, or it's packing orders yourself, or it's making sure that you're getting your accounts filed on time, trying to find accountants, and all these kind of scrappy things that you have to do in the beginning. I think people can sometimes make the assumption that it's easy work, and it's fun and it's glamorous, and it can be all those things too, but it's actually really difficult. I mean, struggles that we had at Silkfred, oh my God, there was so many.
Because you're a buyer, a merchandiser, the HR, the everything in one, aren't you, really, when you just start out and there's only a few of you, you have to put a million hats on.
Everybody, yeah, like, we're fortunate that a lot of the team that, you know, are senior today have been with us for a really long time. And everyone did everything. I remember when we used to get, if we ever used to get anything delivered to the office, like we'd all have to leave our desks and all go pick it up from reception and all carry it up to the office. And there was something really nice about feeling like, you know, we're here building this together. It's really fun. And as you get bigger, you know, you want to try and maintain, you know, you want to still bring people in who are able to flex, and it's not about, oh, this is my job or this isn't my job. It's about, hey, we're all in this together. Let's all work together to hopefully create, you know, the best result for everybody. So I think that's quite important. But so when in terms of prepared to do everything. And I think the struggles, we just had, you know, we did our first wholesale order with a brand, like using Google Translate, because they didn't speak English and we didn't speak their language. You know, having promotions lined up with the designer's stock, like the other side of the world, but having to do the pre-promotion anyway. I mean, this is years back now, we wouldn't do it now. But, you know, there are so many things that you have to do. And also just moments where, you know, it's so difficult and you wonder why you do it. And almost everyone around you will say, why are you doing it?
Yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah, like you're absolutely crazy for doing this to yourself. But I think that what I've noticed over time is that the difference between a lot of the companies that kind of, you know, go on to do like really, really interesting things and kind of have the staying power, it's really like to do with the resilience. Lots of people would have given up at all these various points. And I think when we see that with a lot of the younger fashion brands as well, it's like, it's the ones that just like kind of keep pushing through and keep going when it's tough. And eventually, you know, if you work hard and you've got a great idea for a product, like, you're gonna get, you know,
anyone trust the process, really, haven't you?
Anyone who wants to start a fashion brand, they're gonna get there.
Yeah. I suppose because everyone, you have highs and lows and points where, you know, sales aren't as high as what they were a previous month, but sort of trusting that it's, you know, you kind of go through emotions, don't you?
I think about the sales trajectory, and I think this is a bit of nervousness, isn't it, that people have about starting their own fashion brand, is, you know, one of the scariest things is, am I going to have too much stock, and then what am I going to do, and how am I going to sell it? And I think like anything, it just becomes an iterative process, you know, staying close to the customer, learning what they want, making sure that, you know, you're in a position to be able to react to things as they start working. And with the sales, you're always going to get seasonal kind of highs and lows, but investing in the product at the beginning and making sure that, you know, for anyone who wants to start a fashion brand, it's, why do I want to do this? Is this different? Can they get it somewhere else at a better price? Why should someone spend their money with me over someone else? And once they start to create product that they, you know, get to the point where they've got a really interesting product, find that you can, like, as long as you can react to demand and keep it in stock, you know, you shouldn't see those kind of up months, down months, up months, down months. It just sort of build the season, and then obviously there's a bit of a break, and then everyone shoots back up for Christmas.
It's just knowing what works for you and identifying who your consumer is, isn't it?
Yeah, it does take a bit of time, and, you know, that trial and error. But, you know, there's, you know, now because of social media, you know, you can get such quick reactions on what's doing well. You know, you post a picture of that dress and it'll be like, man, post a picture of that one. Whoa.
Yeah, the insights and the numbers, and then you're like, there.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, well, why is that? And, of course, you can start conversations with customers as well, which is what we did in the very beginning. You know, we always tried to use social media as our shop floor. Like, we would ask questions like, why do you like it? What would you wear it for? What do you think you'll wear it with? And then people would, like, you know, they get really like into that, you know, that dialogue with us,
giving their opinion.
Yeah.
So fast forward to now, you have like 100 people working with Silkfred.
Yeah, it's maybe around that.
So what is it like to work at Silkfred? What's your company culture?
I would say our company culture is, first of all, we have people who are, I believe, just to be genuinely nice people to work with, and very helpful and supportive of one another. You know, if anyone's struggling with trying to get, a difficult or challenging piece of work over the line, there's always somebody, that's going to help and say, okay, what can I do? So, the team spirit when things can get a bit tough and the work can get challenging is there. I think people at Silkfred tend to want to be the best at what they do. And the bar is quite high in terms of how people measure themselves, and we have people who are quite self-starters. They don't need to be monitored in terms of what time are you here and what time are you leaving. No, it's the quality of the work. So people tend to really care about the work they do. They tend to want to be the best at it. They tend to be like self-starters. They tend to be quite ambitious. And I think with the culture, just kind of wrapping around that, like helpful, supportive people, which is great.
So when it comes to sort of like Silkfred hiring, say there was an FRA student watching this and wanted to apply, what would you say the qualities that you look for in someone who wants to work in this industry, working for a company like Silkfred? What would you say?
So I think the most surprising thing is you don't necessarily need to know that much about fashion to work at Silkfred. It helps because if you love the product and you can put yourself in the customer's shoes, then that's always going to give you a little bit more of a passion towards like what we're doing. But we have lots of different people from different kinds of academic backgrounds or career trajectories, and they've all come from all different types of places. I think the thing they have in common is they tend to like to work, and they tend to work quite hard. I think for students, what we would be looking for, we'd be looking for people who they care about the work to a point where they feel responsible for what they do. So if, say, for example, their task was to set up an interview like this one, it wouldn't just be a case of booking the room, it would be making sure that, that everyone shows up, that everyone's prepped, and basically so that the end result is there. And I think that's kind of the difference, and what we were talking about just before we had the interview about, that kind of mentality of, oh, that's not my job. And I think we look for people who, have worked, when they were younger, have they gone and done work in, bars and cafes and restaurants or shops? Have they, are they coming to us as people who are capable and ready to understand what it's like to work with a team? Or are we going to have to train them in that? We typically look for self-starters, love their work, aren't obsessed with titles. That's like our biggest pet peeve.
Titles? As in like
when they really care about like their job title. And it's not that job titles aren't important, it's not that they don't have any relevance whatsoever, it's the fixation on them. I think it's like this person cares more about how they're seen versus the work that they're doing and the responsibility they have. We look for people who basically just like to do the work, want to be helpful to one another, and also have something that we can learn from them as well.
So how have you been working with the FRA?
So with the FRA, we've done a couple of different things. So we've come and talked to students about their career paths. Our team go down there quite frequently. We have started to look at how we can get FRA students placed with us. And also we've been going into FRA, our brand scouting team have been going in and just talking about what is involved in setting up your own brand. If any of the students just wanted to go, I'm going straight down that route, then that's something that we've been talking to them about as well.
It's highly beneficial for them, I think, when they have masterclasses and industry projects, they're getting the feedback directly from a company like yourself, which is invaluable really, because the knowledge that they're getting, they're not going to get that if they weren't speaking directly to you. Because you can learn something, but until you're actually doing it and having a project set by a brand like Silkfred, for example.
That's right, and it's great for our team as well, because we get to see I guess like what the next sort of generation of potential team members are thinking about, and what they care about, and how and what they want to do, what kind of careers they're looking at. And for us, hopefully we find some great people to work with.
Future buyers, future merchant
all
of them.
Or anyone who's talented and wants to work hard is welcome with us.
What's your biggest achievement for Silkfred, like to date? What was that moment that you thought? Did you have like a moment when you thought, "Wow, we're really like doing something great here"?
We've had we've been on such a great journey in the last 10 years. And there's a couple that stand out to me. So the first one was like our first major like sales spike, because it did take a while. Like we often joke that my sister was our only customer for a really long time. and then I remember I get
she's still a customer.
She is. We get, fortunately, it's good. She buys a lot. And so I used to get the emails, like the new order. Whenever we got a new order, I would get an email and it would just say like who had ordered it, what it was, etc. They don't come into my inbox directly anymore, thankfully, but I still have them in a folder because and I just remember getting, new order alert, new order alert, new order alert, new order alert. It was like, and I remember messaging our developer at the time and saying, well, there's something broken with the site. I'm just getting all these like emails and it's just driving me crazy. Like, can we just turn it off? And he said, no, these are genuine sales, Emma. And I just remember saying,
you thought you was getting spammed with fake calls.
I just thought this was just like, something's just gone haywire. It's not working. And he said, no, they're genuine sales. And I remember exactly where I was standing, what the room looks like, and that memory is just so imprinted. Like it's just so there. And I just remember thinking, we're onto something now. Like this is it. We've gone from kind of and it was just like, I was like, okay, well, what is it about this product that everybody loves? Let's try work on it. Let's build on it. And we were just able to build from that. I remember our first £1 million month. And that was I was just like in bits. Like it was quite embarrassing actually. I think I might have like called the team and I just had like tears streaming down my face. So, there's moments like that where, there was another one where we had a Christmas party and I think the team size was maybe like, I said maybe like 25 people back then, but that was huge to us at that point in time. And I remember we just had this like lovely, like long table. I remember just walking into the room and just being like, oh my God, this is our team. I can't believe it.
Yeah, because overheads are, it's expensive, isn't it? You've got to pay people. Like it's get to a point where you've got a massive team. It must be so like it's a really proud moment, I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean even like that around that that 20 person mark, that was just unbelievable because we've always been for a while we were a very tight knit team and then obviously as we grew to not only achieve our plans but also just to keep the wheels on we had to like hire more people.
So where do you see Silkfred going in the next 5-10 years? Is 5 years too soon? Or 10? Should we say 10?
I mean that's like our lifetime. So in Silkfred land, it's another lifetime.
Another 5. Okay, another 5 years.
I hear you. Silkfred, the future for us. I mean, look, we want to be able to work with anyone who has an idea for a fashion brand. I believe really strongly that for example, your ideas and what you might have about what you want to wear and what your friends might want to wear is far more interesting than a team of buyers in a head office in London and what they think. So I just think, isn't it so exciting to be building up a community of people who like, wow, like I really wish that I could find like, the jeans that, rip in all the right places that just look really cool. Like there are lots of ripped jeans, but none like the one I want. For us to be able to work with people and help them go from, vision to reality to business. This is what we want to be working on. And we've been able to identify, different communities of independent brands in different parts of the world that have very similar needs to what we've seen in the UK. So we want to be doing what we've done for brands in the UK internationally and continuing to grow in the UK. Silkfred is, it's reasonably well known, but in terms of where like the size of the market is and the opportunity and how much further we have to go, it's, there's still so much there for us left to do. We're still only 10 years young. When you compare that to like the high street retailers, like we're a baby, really. So for us, we have so much learning to do. And we don't get it right all the time, but we're learning as we go, and what we want to do is just make sure that we have that best experience for the people who want to partner with us with their brands, and also for customers. Just make sure that that they're getting they've got a place that's really exciting and fun to shop, because that's what we've wanted to do for customers, is just make it fun.
Exciting times ahead. And then we can look back at this interview in 10 years. So we've got 500 staff now and a massive like office with 500 of you.
Well, yeah, I think actually taking, looking back, you do realise, even when I was talking about that brand that had the dress on Holly Willoughby yesterday, even 6 months ago, 8 months ago, that would have been something they'd have dared to dream about. So often when you look back at it, you're like, wow, we have all come so far. We have all done a lot. And because otherwise you just get kind of caught up in the day-to-day grind, and it's hard to recognise like those wins.
Well, this has been lovely chatting to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you so much.